The HKSAR Chief Executive Cup, the traditional curtain raiser. The feature race on the first day. It's a Class 1 over the 1,200 metres. We have 7 going to post. Southern legend Chad Schofield will jump from barrier 1. Group 1 winner in Singapore, the back end of last season. Winner's Way has Zach Pert in the saddle. Born in China, Douglas White on board. Run up in a Group 3 back in May. Fabulous One, he'll burn from the front. Jumbo Luck likes to roll as well, as does California Fortune. Down to Wishful Thinker, a long way out of the handicap here, but the only horse to beat Hot King Prawn so far. And as far as the logistics are concerned, we have one horse coming down from Chung Fa, and that is Fabulous One. He returned on the 14th of August. He did trial there as well. So there's plenty to digest, and we'll have a look at all of that. Plus the speed map. We've made our way to the touchscreen to have a look at this one, Brett. I think it probably plays out as most people would expect. Fabulous One out in front. But the question mark would be, when he gets rolling, is how big is this gap from the first 3 back to the other 4?
Good question. This is the horse that's most interesting for me, Wishful Thinker here. We know he's got a brilliant turn of foot. At Carnival night, I thought he began really swiftly out of the barriers and probably could have been a little bit closer. I'm envisaging maybe he might be looking for that spot. Now, admittedly, Southern Legends drawn barrier number 1. Casper's made it quite evident in the press that obviously December, the mile, is what they're looking for. So I wouldn't think they're going to really hustle and bustle to try and hold the inside rail if horses want to cross him. But at the same time, they're probably going to want to utilise it if they can. I think Wishful Thinker's a little chance of maybe getting in there in front of Southern Legend. Zach will be looking for that 1-1 spot, and Born in China will probably end up sitting there. So I think that is the format. These 3 here, Fabulous One, Jumbo Luck and California Fortune, they'll dispute the lead in the first 100, but it will end up in that order. All
right, OK, there you go, the 7 of them going round. There's plenty of rain as well, Paul, which might play its part too.
Yeah, it could well do, yeah. It was interesting to see how it is on a race, so we know it drains really well. He's Born in China, just working with Wonderful Chaser, who is earlier in the day, he'll be running around. Born in China, Douglas White, he knows horse really well. He's closest to us. Thought he had a nice, really good hit out leading into this particular race. Jumbo Luck looks good, and he's obviously a horse that was in a bit of form towards the back end of last season. Does go well fresh as well, this horse. Keith Young aboard, and yeah, 2 starts ago was quite impressive when he won. And his Winner's Way, I just thought he was really pushed out here with California Fortune. Of course, these 2 are 2 rivals in the race. And of the 2, as you just saw that little bit there, you just wonder if California Fortune was actually just going a little bit better. But obviously, Winner's Way, he started his favourite at the moment.
Yeah, it's a good ride for Alvin Ong, isn't it, as well? California Fortune, first day back.
Yeah, the track work actually sort of is complete opposite, really, to the recent trial, where I thought Winner's Way found the line a little better than California Fortune.
All right, well, we'll see that in a second. Let's first, though, take you back to the end of last season and have a look at a couple of these in action, starting off with Jumbo Luck, because he did look very progressive. He's a lovely big horse, Jumbo Luck. The other horse we've got to keep an eye on here is Wishful Thinker, right at the back of the field, but he's got a fair old turn of foot when he lets go.
And he didn't jump very well, and he sort of got a bit crowded at the start. He got really well back. It's a small field this time. Jumbo Luck did meet him slightly better in the weights on this occasion. They're going to have equal weights in this race. And I thought Jumbo Luck had the race one to suit. He did win nicely, but I think Wishful Thinker can turn the tables.
Well, Jumbo Luck sat outside of Shamal there, who could very much be like Fabulous One. I think Fabulous One will kick on a little bit stronger, but I take Paul's point. It's a smaller field. Wishful Thinker had issues early on. If he can step better from the gates, maybe maintain that spot I showed you in the speed map, then he could be very much within striking distance. He does look a really serious horse.
All right, well, let's take in a couple more here, starting off with Winner's Way. Of course, this is a big win for him last season as well, with a couple of rivals in behind. We had Born in China, again, a horse that can really let down and rattle home, and Fabulous One in his familiar spot out in front.
Chris So has mentioned in the media that the fact that Fabulous One has been at Chun Fa and had the little bit of time to you know, relax, get a bit of space, become a horse again. We know in Hong Kong it's not so prevalent in that respect, with the space and the room that they have to move when they're not out on the track. He could come back really mentally refreshed and find an extra length or so to be very competitive and maybe even win. On this occasion, Winner's Way had his measure, and Born in China ran a good race, which is not normally the case for him at Sha Tin. He's better at Happy Valley, but good horse on his day.
Definitely. He's put on 25 pounds. I'm interested to see how Jenny says how he looks.
Born in China?
No, the other one, sorry, Fabulous One.
Right.
So he has put on a little bit of weight, but as you say, he's been up to Chung Fa and back and that might be the difference.
Been feasting.
We will find out. But this is Fabulous One again, but at Sha Tin, again, out in front, rolling along. The other horses to take note of. Winner's Way once more. And California Fortune, I thought it was probably a little bit flat here.
Yeah, well, we saw that bit of track work Paul highlighted before, where it looked like California Fortune was working over Winner's Way a little bit. But in this trial, you can see, as you pointed out, Andrew, he's a little flat California Fortune, and Winner's Way does work home nicely. But at the same time, it's worth taking note. Fabulous One's cruising out there in front. The fact that he's had this refreshment time in Chun Fa will be very interesting to see how he does perform, because he could set a little bit of a precedent, if it hasn't been done already, with horses spending time in Chun Fa, coming back to the races and performing well.
Yeah, he's going to be in front for a long period of the race, so just the last 100 obviously will be obviously crucial.
Yeah. All right, one horse we haven't talked about as yet, an important one as well, and that is Southern Legends. Let's hear from the trainer, Casper Fownes.
Casper, Southern Legends having his first run this season, first run as well since his win in Singapore. He won a trial last week. Are you happy with how he is going into the race?
Yeah, he's coming along really well. Obviously, 1200 is going to be on the sharp side for him, and the 133 is going to be a concern, giving some nice young horses a bit of weight there. But he's very well in himself, and he just try to progress through each race coming up for December.
What sort of targets have you got for him in December?
Yeah, I think the mile, you know, he'll be cherry ripe by then. He likes his racing, so just follow a similar path to last year, but he's got the rating on the board this time. So I think he's there to fight with the big boys.
He contested this same race last year, finished 5th. Obviously, we know what he's gone on to do since then. Yeah. In your opinion, how much better is he from last year to this year?
Oh, he's a lot stronger. He keeps improving. But like I said, first up, 1200, he'll find it tough, you know. If you can run in the first 3, I'll be very happy. But as a rule, that particular race with the lightweights, they have a huge advantage, and they tend to perform really well first up as well. But it's all about December. So in November, you'll see the right horse on November and December.
I wonder if the terrain might bring him into his own, though, as well. He's got winning form and a good yielding surface. He had 113 when he was 5th last year. He's got 20 pounds more in his back.
That's right. I mean, that just highlights the achievements and things that he's done since then. But look, he's 2 out of 3 in the class. We know horses can really ping sometimes fresh when they're looking for longer ground. I've left him out for the reasons Casper mentioned. I mean, the race has generally been suited to horses lower weights on the way up, as opposed to the established with the big weights. But it's not beyond him should the race be run to suit. But I'll leave him alone.
All right, top or bottom of the handicap for you then, Paul?
Yeah, definitely the bottom for me. I really like Wishful Thinker. I think he's a really nice progressive horse. He comes in at a very, well, a lowish rating for this race. He's on the minimum, but I think he can win the race. I think he's very progressive, and that win against Hot King Prawn wasn't a fluke. So he's on top to beat Jumbo Luck, another one that comes in at 113 pounds. Then we go up to Winner's Way. He always races honest race. And Southern Legend, as Casper said, this isn't his grand final by any stretch of the imagination. But I think he can get back and he can just run home nicely enough and run into 4th. So I went 7, 5, 2 and 1, but I do like the 7 in this race.
Yeah, he's got all the class, Southern Legend. I didn't find a spot for him, but, you know, as I said, depending on how the race is run and track conditions and way the track actually might even be playing, it's not beyond him. But I went with Wishful Thinker. If he can posse up that little spot closer, I think he can potentially run over Fabulous One and Jumbo Luck, who I think will be the 2 fighting it out with a furlong to go. Winner's Way will be closing in as well. He may have the class to get over, but the weight's against him. So 7, 4, 5, 2. It looks to be a really exciting contest, as it always generally is.
It's a fantastic race for the first one, or the first big one of the new season. Wishful Thinker for me as well. It's a clean sweep there as far as we're concerned, despite being out of the handicap. All right, that's the 3rd race, the big one. Up next for us, race number 4. It's the first leg of the Triple Trio.